Shabbat Shalom. With this week's Torah portion of Vaetchanan, we have an embarrassment of riches. Even if you are not one who has memorized all the different sections of the Torah, I can guarantee that there are things in this week's Torah portion that you will be well aware of. For example, the Ten Commandments. Probably heard of that before. Well, it is here front and center, as we will find out tomorrow morning. The Ten Commandments here technically is the repeat version, as Moses is giving us the recap of what happened 40 years prior. But still, it is incredibly important and one of the greatest guideposts in our life. Not that it's more important than the other 603 commandments, but these 10 are special because of how they were given. They were given in what is fancily called the theophany, what the rest of us call as being the direct exposure of God to the entire nation simultaneously. One of the most important moments in all of our history, and I would argue, I'm a rabbi after all, in all human history, the idea that indeed there is not only a God that created the world, but one who cares about how we live and what we do with our life. Which brings me to famous section number 2 of Vaetchanan, the Shema and the Ve'ahavta. One of the first blessings that any child will learn, one of the last things that any person will say when they are approaching their leaving of this world and entry into the next. We will talk about this in more detail tomorrow, but the Shema is the epitome of our monotheism, that we reach out to Adonai, to our God, and we recognize that God is one, which is followed by the Ve'ahavta, where we realize that it is not only a passive recognition of God's existence, of God's oneness, but that this lights a fire within us, a passion towards God that will be given with all of our love, with all of our spirit, with all of our might, and which we will use as a guide for many of the activities during our normal day-to-day life. Lots of good stuff, and more besides. But, and there's always a but whenever a sermon starts out on such a happy note, but shortly after all of these amazing sections, these glories are explained as we revel in what God has given to us, done for us throughout all of these years, we get a rug pull. It's almost like Lucy and Charlie Brown, the football goes away and we go whoop, punk. Because God says, oh, by the way, all the stuff I've done for you, the 10 Commandments, the Shema, the Ve'ahavta, the Exodus from Egypt, the Torah, the protection during 40 years, all of that, don't think that you deserve it. Right? You are not the greatest nation on earth. You are not the best people, and that's why I'm doing this for you. You are the least. You are the most insignificant, and if God does say so God's self, we are one of the most stubborn and annoying people, and yet God has done all of this for us nonetheless. Now, why the letdown? Why take so much away from the joy we must have been feeling during Moses' summary at this point? Well, it has to do with the nature of, well, human psychology. You see, we have a tendency, right up to the modern day, this is not something we can only pin on our ancestors, to think that everything we have somehow deserved. If I have a job that I like, well, you know what? I worked hard and I earned that. If I have a family that I love and that loves me, well, you know, it was my foresight to gather good people around me. If I am blessed with a home, with a car that I like, with all of the trappings of modern luxury, well, you know, that's because I'm just the kind of guy who deserves the finer things in life. This is a classic aspect of human nature. It is not just a product of our modern consumer society, although that hasn't helped. Because we like to imagine that everything that around us has a nice, clear explanation, and that at the center of that explanation is me. At the center of that explanation, you can realize why it is like this is because of me. That gives me control. That gives me an understanding and an ability to predict what's going to happen. And it also means I don't have to say thank you to no one. That I owe no one nothing. That everything I have, I paid for in full. Everything that I've been blessed for, I have already paid that debt because that's why I've got it. And God comes along in this Torah portion after telling us all these amazing things that have been done for us and says, no, you are not entitled to this, so don't act entitled. You are not blessed with this because you are the most holy and special, but you have been given this so that you can try to become holy, so that you can seek blessing for yourself and for others around you. You must be grateful. Now, grateful is a word we throw around a lot. In modern society, we consider it showing gratitude when we say thank you to somebody at the checkout for bagging up our groceries. And that is the baseline of civility, and please keep doing that. But that is not what true gratitude means. Gratitude is the feeling you have towards the stranger who stopped in the middle of the rain to help you change your tire. That is the feeling of gratitude. They didn't owe you anything. You didn't deserve to have them come by. There is no reason that you should expect that they should come by, and if you do expect it, then you are indeed behaving like a very selfish person. Instead, you must set aside that entitlement and recognize, wow, this is something that I had no reason to expect, and yet it has been done for me by someone else. I owe them. I owe them. In Judaism, we believe that every day we wake up in debt. Every single day, we wake up with what's known as a chiyuv, an obligation, a debt. We have already opened our eyes. Do you need more than that to say thank you? The gift of continuing to be able to exist, to draw a new breath, to have a new day in front of you, no matter how rough it might be. Already you should be feeling gratitude. Not, well, of course I get another day. I deserve it. I earn it. I exercise hard. I go to my doctor and I eat right. And so of course I get another. No! Because there are a million people who do not wake up, who didn't deserve to pass in their sleep either. Each moment we have is a blessing for which we have no true words of thanks, and yet we must try. When God tells us that we are the least, it is there to let out that air, that arrogance, that fills up our head and makes us blind to what we have, and that makes us act with callous entitlement and privilege in every aspect of our lives. Instead, we recognize, hopefully, especially on a day like today, when we celebrate a young man coming into the threshold of young adulthood, how blessed we are beyond deserving, and how much we must cherish that, how much we must say thank you for that, and how much we must celebrate it, and how much we must not take it for granted. Because it doesn't just happen, and it doesn't happen accidentally. I know Jacob worked hard to get up here. I know all of you worked to bring him here and to bring your joy, and I know all the rest of you that are members of the community or perhaps first-time attendees to our congregation. You had to make things happen to be here. And for that, I am grateful, because I know that doesn't happen by chance. That's not by accident. And I have no right to expect that you will be here. But I can have hope. And in the meantime, please allow yourself to be filled with that sense of gratitude and awe. It's one of the greatest gifts Shabbat can give us when we are not chasing what we must do, but instead we can celebrate what is. And with that, Shabbat Shalom.